The time is now 7 o'clock.
Busan, our beloved city, is the second biggest city here in Korea. But if we look at the top 100 companies ranked for Korea, Busan-based companies are nowhere to be seen. So the highest ranked Busan company on the list was in 111th place. So we're definitely seeing a decline in manufacturing companies. The second biggest city, that's Busan once again, but only 111th place, and that's for any of the companies here based in Busan. So there seems to be a huge discrepancy between the numbers, meaning second biggest city versus the companies here in Busan, their size. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Friday, November 29th on BEFM, 부산영어방송. Good morning, Wavers. I hope you're all doing well, especially for our Wavers who are living, visiting in the vicinity of Seoul, the capital area, any of the regions that saw a lot of snow. I hope that you're all doing well. It's the final Friday of November. Can you believe? It's kind of weird thinking about the fact that, we turn over the calendar, whether it's an actual calendar or, on our planner, next week. December, here we come, right? Anyhow, Busan City. We love our city. We really do. Apparently, they're not living up to its reputation as kind of the second city here in Korea when it comes to business and industries. And you might think, well, that sounds a little harsh. Well, let's look at this kind of report card, the city's report card. It does reflect this harsh reality. So, only 31 Busan-based companies made it onto the top 1,000 corporations list based on sales. So the biggest company in Busan based on just sales was BNK Busan Bank, having jumped 38 places in just 1 year. So one industry that's doing well is apparently finance. So BNK Busan Bank and IM Securities are in first and third place on this list, which have both seen big boosts in their revenues. So actually, investment and finance companies account for 40% of the city's top 10 sales firm. And this is a huge increase from 25% the year prior. And then you might be thinking, well, what about Luno Korea, which had been at the top of Busan's corporate list since 2008. Well, that company fell to overall 156th place, down by over 40 spots. This shows that Busan is no longer the manufacturing center that it used to be. And as manufacturing companies, well, looking at the figures, only accounted for 12 of 31 companies to make the top 1,000. The Busan Chamber of Commerce and Industry pointed out that the status of local companies still low and not a single local firm making it to the top 100. Not good news. By comparison, 88% of the top 100 firms were located in the capital area. 530 Seoul-based companies took up the top 1,000 spots, followed by 177 from Gyeonggi. So, businesses and investment are disproportionately focused on one part of the country, the capital region, right, and the surrounding areas. And it takes much more than just hard work from these individual companies and cities to kind of distribute the wealth. And that's just a report card. I'm just reporting on the news, so don't get mad at the messenger. But now it's time for our text topic. All right, so here we go. It is the final Friday, the last Friday of November. And, as the song lyrics go, the weather outside is frightful. Well, let's get into the holiday spirit with your favorite holiday songs. And I'm just going to say Christmas songs, right? What are your favorite Christmas songs? So the thing is, I wish I could show you our cue sheet. It's like empty waiting for suggestions. Anyhow, 추위는 너무 춥잖아요. 11월 달인데도 이렇게 추운데 여러분의 최애 크리스마스 노래가 뭘까요? Because we want to get in the spirit. It is cold. It feels like December. And we're almost there anyway, right? So send in your favorite Christmas songs and we'll see what we can do. You can send them into BFM's live stream, live chat on YouTube. And yes, what you do, you go to that platform, type in BEFM, 부산영어방송, find our channel, subscribe, log in, and then you can chat away. And also, on your phone, pound 9050, shop 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. You can also reach me for free through our Kakao channel. Same thing there. Search for BEFM, 부산영어방송. You can send in your messages and photos as well. And the ways you can listen to us, 90.5, 103.3 FM. That's if you're in the Busan vicinity, right? And also on the radio. YouTube, like I said, we're streaming live. As we speak, you can also watch again at your leisure. And we are available on two different apps, our BEFM app and also the Patbang app. You can find our programming there. So let's really kind of get into and feel the Christmas vibes today. And, I'm kind of coincidentally wearing a very vibrant yellow. And you'll see Haley in a little bit. And we did not plan, but she's wearing a similar color. And get into the Christmas spirit. Looking ahead to our morning, though, we have Casey for Foreign Press Highlights. And then in hour number 2, we have Vasana with What in the World. For our special interview, I wish we could continue with that cheerful, gleeful spirit. But we're going to focus on this Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire deal. What does this mean? Because I just saw the latest news saying like both sides are already accusing each other of like breaking the ceasefire deal. So we need to get the nitty-gritty details. That's coming up in hour number 2. And in the meantime, I'll be back with today's headlines. It is now 7:07. These are today's headlines. BOK makes surprise back-to-back rate cuts. The Bank of Korea, or BOK, yesterday lowered its benchmark interest rate by 0.25% for the second consecutive session, taking the rate to 3%. UN pledges enhanced support for premature babies. President Yoon Suk-yeol vowed yesterday to increase support for the birth, treatment, and care of premature babies to help lessen the burden on their parents. EU gives final approval of Korean Air Asiana Airlines merger. Korean Air has announced that the European Commission, or EC, the executive body of the European Union, has given its final approval of the 1.8 trillion won merger with Asiana Airlines. New Jeans terminates contract with Adore. K-pop girl group New Jeans announced that they are terminating their contract with agency Adore effective at midnight in protest against the company's dispute with its former CEO. Israel strikes Hezbollah facility after claims of ceasefire violation. Israel Defense Forces, or IDF, said Thursday local time that it had carried out an airstrike on a Hezbollah facility in southern Lebanon as residents returned to their homes on the second day of a fragile ceasefire. And these are today's headlines. Hi, Haley.
Hi, Catherine.
I love your color.
I love yours too.
Yes. We'll just leave it at that. For those of you who cannot see us.
And I just heard our producer's eyeball roll.
Yes.
I heard her. Yeah. Yep.
So we got to get to very important text topic today. We want to get into the spirit.
So important.
Even though we just celebrated Thanksgiving. And by the way, if you're listening in the States or if you celebrate, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We
Happy
had turkey yesterday.
Yay.
We did. The
So
two of
far,
us did.
so
Yes.
far.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and then, well, in the States, the day after Thanksgiving is kind of the unofficial start of Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Thus, the Christmas songs and
Of
our Christmas
course,
vibes
of
and our kind of
course.
like minty green, families of green. Yeah, we're on theme.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Our
so-
producer's wearing black.
She's like,
Oh, no. She's stripped. She's
okay,
wearing
she
beige.
keeps
She keeps on doing the Superman.
Yeah.
And I wish she would stop. But so what's your favorite Christmas song?
I like the minor key Christmas music.
like?
I like the Little Drummer Boy.
Oh,
the Bing
love it.
Crosby and David Bowie version, A Fairy Tale of New York. But then I think on theme today, my pick is not my favorite, but All I Want for Christmas is My Two Front Teeth. Because I'm getting my wisdom teeth removed today after the
today?
show. So yeah, maybe all I want for Christmas is my two back teeth, I guess. Yeah, wish me luck.
Yes, good luck. Yes. All right, we're going to jump into our first update. One of the most important bills for Busan is this Global Hub City special legislation. But, despite the promises to kind of handle the bill within the year, because, we only have one more month left, it has run into a wall.
Not much time left in the year, but also not much action being taken. So our
Yes.
top story today is the Global Hub City special legislation, 글로벌 허브도시 특별법. This bill was introduced at the Parliamentary Interior and Safety Committee, 행정안전위원회 행안위. It was supposed to be put up for discussions at the small committee, which is an important step to get it through, but didn't happen. It did not get put on the agenda, which means that the remaining process of this bill has been put on hold.
And with this, Mayor Park Hyung-jun launched a protest at the National Assembly, right?
Right, because, at a certain point, we've had enough.
Yes.
And
Get
Mayor,
it done.
Yeah. And Mayor Park launched a 2-day sit-in at a tent pitched in front of the National Assembly. And you can see the photos and the snow.
Yes.
And Park held a press conference with People Power Party lawmakers from Busan City and the Citizen Committee for the bill, and said that the bill has already finished discussions with relevant ministries, and therefore there's no reason to delay it any further. And he also conveyed the outrage from the people of Busan and also expressed his strong regrets as mayor.
Yes.
And this sit-in began yesterday, will continue through this afternoon. And Mayor Park and the lawmakers visited the parliamentary committee yesterday and picketed the sessions. However, the Democratic Party's position is simply that these actions, the protests, don't help with passing the bill. In the meantime, People Power Party's chair Han Dong-un visited and joined Mayor Park in Yeouido in support and told the press that the special legislation is a key bill for the ruling party, and for both the ruling and opposition parties, it's on their priority negotiations list. So when that priority is going to kick in, we don't know yet, but that's where things stand.
Yes. So thanks for giving us an update on that. Next, let's talk about this. There have been talks, and we've heard the rumors for a while, that the Lotte department store in Centum City, right near our station, may be closing its doors, and that the Lotte Group itself has taken action to actually sell the property.
Right, so this is happening to the backdrop of Lotte Group, the parent company itself, apparently going through some liquidity issues, and the group has announced an overhaul of its CEOs and leadership. But apparently the Lotte department store group has put up the building and the property for sale and launched the bidding process. So according to investors, various developers and investors have participated in the bid, with the bid ranging in the 200 to 300 billion won. And sources say that interviews are taking place this week, and a report has been made to the group.
So what's going to happen to the department store?
Well, it really depends on who buys it. So
Okay.
if a developer buys that property, then the chances are the department store will be gone and the land
Yes.
cleared for. In Korea, for developing anything at this point, it's apartments or
Yes.
some kind of a residence. Here's the thing, though. Because lands, properties are assigned for different purposes.
Yes.
And that particular gigantic plot of land is tied legally for only retail. So you would have to go through a lot of red tape and a lot of procedures to get a residence permit. And those
Sure.
are kind of hard to come by. And here's the thing, though. The Lotte Group itself doesn't really see the Centum City branch as a lucrative option. And for them, it hasn't been. They haven't really been making money for years. 29th in sales out of 32 of its department stores across the country. But the department store officially said they haven't made a decision yet, so we'll have to see.
Well, this is pretty major news for anybody in Busan.
But it's also jobs, too. Right?
Yes. All right, we need some good news. So let's talk about Busan seeing a slight increase in our birth rate.
Right, but when the birth rate is below zero, anything even slight is significant.
We're taking drops, anything.
But we have to.
Yes.
So Busan's birth rate is in line with the country's overall rebound. So in the third quarter of last year, let's rewind back, the total fertility rate, and this is when how many babies an average woman is expected to have in her lifetime. Last year, 0.65, which is low.
Yes.
But that jumped to 0.7 for Q3, quarter 3 of this year.
Okay.
And the reasons are similar with the rest of the country. Delayed weddings from COVID. People started getting married more and more towards the beginning of the pandemic. And we're seeing kind of the effect from the couples who got married in the beginning of the post-pandemic season. They're having babies. So experts say that also benefits from government policy and also city and local policy, they have been having effects as well. However, overall big picture, Busan's fertility rate is the second lowest in the country, with the lowest in Seoul at 0.58. So we do have some catching up to do.
Okay, well, still, we'll take that slight increase. For a final story, Busan City is promoting an active lifestyle for the public.
Active.
Oh, did you do that on purpose?
Kind of, but not really. I got this in the mail yesterday, and just things work out. Sometimes things just work out.
It was meant to be.
I know. And Busan's running a 2-day-long pop-up campaign. It's called 북이랑 운동하장, and you have to add the 장, 하장, workout. That's what the city said. Take it up with City Hall.
Yes.
And it's workout with Pookie. And this is at Busan's Eurasia platform that's right outside Busan Station. And that'll be actually set up as a big sports arena for tomorrow and the day after.
I want that poster that we're posting right
it's
now
so
on our
cute.
YouTube. I want that.
It's adorable.
Yes.
And it features various, and here's key, easy exercises, light workouts, and you can try things out. They're not going to make you run a 5K on your first day, maybe like pace in place, along with information booths. Because, I mean, once again, starting next week, you're going to be on the final page of the calendar, and we're going to make that New Year's pledge to be active. So then you might want to get a little bit of a diagnosis from experts on where your fitness stands right now. So you get a better idea. And there will be those like diagnostic tests. You can try out table tennis, soccer, park golf, and take sports classes. There will also be taekwondo and cheerleading demonstrations as well. And you can go to Busan City's official Instagram for details.
And of course, a big congratulations to Boogie, who features on our programming at night. He won the 올해 최고의 지방자치단체 홍보, the PR. So he's been selected as
best PR for local governments. Yeah.
I agree, though.
Yeah, he's the best.
And he works hard.
He does. Oh my God, he
or
does
is
work
it
hard.
it? I don't know.
They. The seagull. Boogie. Boogie's Boogie.
Boogie's Boogie, yes. So that's true. Congrats to him. We love Boogie. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to get to you, the waivers. Let's get into the Christmas spirit. I don't see your Christmas spirit, people. I see a lot of like hellos and stuff, but I want to see your Christmas spirit because it feels like December already. Since it is the last Friday of November, looking forward to December. We're going to get into the holiday spirit with your favorite Christmas songs. Here is your traffic and weather. It is now 7:18. This is your traffic report. There's an accident on Hwangryongdae from Hwangryong Tunnel to the Yujin Chemical 3-way intersection right outside the tunnel. It's causing congestion right now. It's also backed up on the Dongso overpass from Hwangryong ramp to the old Kaegum toll gate. Likewise, looking slow on Luno Samsungdae from Myeongji underpass to Shinho Bridge. It is quite chilly this morning. We're at 3 degrees right now. Clear skies. The daytime high is forecast to go up to just 10 degrees today. It is even colder across the country, with most of the capital area seeing sub-zero temperatures. So look out for slippery roads from the heavy snow that may have frozen overnight. Looking ahead to the weekend, Saturday, tomorrow here in Busan, an expected low of 4, a high of 13, slightly warmer on Sunday, with a low of 5, an expected high of 14. The good news is both days are expected to be quite clear. And this was traffic and weather.
Are you an early bird? Are you up to date on the news? Are you a trendsetter? For all of the biggest issues from Busan to the world and useful information you need, right here on Morning Wave in Busan.
It's time for a news digest. But, I was reading one message from Young, and he says, "Good morning. I've never seen so much snow in my life." Yesterday was, he said, I felt like it was a bit of a natural disaster. It was more chaotic in the morning. Thank goodness things are much more organized today. So thanks
That's
for giving us
hear.
an update to hear what's going on across the country, and that you're safe and sound. Yes, so thanks for checking in with us. Well, speaking of that, first snow of the season was quite disastrous, as Young just said. So let's get the latest updates.
And he's completely right. On two fronts, the Central Disaster and Response Counter Headquarters did launch. So yes, that does classify as a disaster. And in terms of you never having seen this much snow, that also may be true because this was the third highest in terms of accumulated snow for Seoul.
Okay.
So that was really, really something else. And we are looking at least 6 deaths from across the capital area and parts of Gangwon. A lot of them had to do with structures falling down, collapsing under the weight of the snow while people were clearing the snow. So similar cases in Pyeongtaek, Yangpyeong, and Hwasong. And a 4-car collision on Seoul's Yangyang Highway killed 1 person earlier in the morning yesterday as well.
So unfortunate, of course, to hear about that. So do we know why there was so much snow this early on? I mean, in November.
It's November.
Yes.
And that came so suddenly because we're just talking about how unseasonably warm this fall was.
Yes.
And I kept seeing posts on my social media from Busan where it is still fall. Like we still have leaves on trees. But in terms of why this much snow, this is a combination of the low pressure front. In Korean, it's called 절리 저기압, plus the warm western oceans. So there's this low pressure front on the northern part of the peninsula, and it's formed when we have fast winds in the upper atmosphere from the jet stream, but that wind kind of parts away from the jet stream, and that brings in cold air from all the way up from the North Pole.
Okay.
So apparently it creates kind of an unstable atmosphere, which is when we get precipitation. And then combine that with, oddly enough, the hot summer we've had. And you might be wondering, well, summer's long gone.
Yes.
It feels even longer gone. But ironically, it's the hot summer that's caused the snow dump, because the Western Sea right now, Seohae, is about 2 degrees Celsius hotter than what it normally would be around this time. So we're looking at waters of 14 to 16 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
So here's the thing. When there's this big temperature difference, warm waters and cold upper air, like imagine a bathtub outdoors. You get steam coming out of it.
Yes.
Same logic,
Okay.
we can see our breath, like the 입김 effect when the air is cold and inside and warm moisture.
Yes.
So it forms steam going up, and that adds to the clouds. So there's plenty of humidity going up to the clouds from the warm ocean. And then let's bring it all back to that low pressure front.
Yes.
Forms this path for the clouds to travel in, to build up in the so-called pressure valley, 기압골, to the affected areas, thus that dumping of snow.
Thanks for explaining, because everybody's wondering,
It's November.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why? Yes. And experts are now attributing the high number of casualties and damages to this so-called wet snow, right?
Right. And this also does have to do with the fact that it wasn't that cold, but it still snowed so much because 습설, wet snow, it's basically snow, like imagine a snowflake, that 눈꽃, right? It has all this air between like the little prongs and bridges, but well, when you have a lot of air between those prongs, it's dry snow. If you ski, that's the really nice fluffy snow that you like to ski and snowboard on. Wet snow has water between those little legs and arms of the snowflake.
Right.
So because water is heavy, that snow is heavier than what we would usually see. And by the way, this happens when the temperature is between 0 and 5 degrees Celsius, which is what we're seeing.
Okay.
How heavy is it? 2 to 3 times heavier than dry snow, 건설. So basically, if you have just 5 centimeters of accumulated snow that's like this much across 100 square meter land, it'll weigh 600 kilograms. So the maximum snowfall over Seoul officially was about 30 centimeters.
Yes.
So if you have that over one roof, that weighs 3.6 tons, which is 2 cars. Buildings are not equipped for that.
Yeah. The math, it adds up. It adds up. Yeah, absolutely.
And so this is why, going back to the initial casualty count, we've had so many accidents and deaths by collapsed structures. So they're caused by this wet, heavy snow piled on top of roofs and structures. The structure obviously was not built to handle the weight of 2 cars. Why would it? And the thing is, because there's more water, it clumps more easily. So it just sticks together. And when the clump falls down, then we have additional secondary accidents, especially if it's on top of people.
Oh, gosh. So now that we know the science and why it's so heavy, it's because of this so-called wet snow.
Right.
Please be careful. I know. It's probably a little tamer today, but still. And Tommy mentions right now where he is, everything is frozen and it is minus or -7.
Oh, goodness.
7. Talk about minus territory. Yes. So, it was not safe for anyone to be out on the roads, and a lot of schools got canceled, I hear. But a lot more people, you still have to go to work.
And we're hearing from Tommy. It took him 2.5 hours on foot to go home from work. So we have cases here.
Yes.
And a lot of people were out on motorcycles delivering food, which, it's bad enough in a car to begin with, but when you have 2 wheels and no walls to support you, that can be disastrous. So on these days, heavy snow, heavy rain days, delivery fees do go up by about 5 to 6 times, depending on the platform.
Yes.
But this does incentivize some people to go out into the snow to deliver. So there's an online community for these delivery drivers, and it was full of comments yesterday and the day before, like, all right, guys, go out and get ready to fall. Or platforms are luring us with these promotions and that it's scary. In fact, one delivery worker in Suwon said he did go out to deliver because apparently that specific platform that he works for offered 30,000 won on top of usual deliveries if he makes 8 calls in the span of 3 hours. So like 3만 won is no laughing matter, but it's also, is it worth it when there is 40 centimeters of snow on the ground. However, he says that he fell off his motorcycle right outside his home, so made no money and hurt his ankle.
Oh, no.
So the Union of Writers under the Umbrella Union said that these, because the usual delivery fees are not that high, and these kind of danger incentives, as they called it, they make it seem more attractive for the writers. However, this can be dangerous, and the union counted 16 delivery-related deaths in the last 8 months.
And the thing is that apparently there are laws that are, in the works to address this issue, right?
Right. So this is the laws to support people in vulnerable labor situations, 노동약자 지원법. It covers people who are not technically laborers, an issue that we've covered previously. So freelancers, platform platform workers, temporary jobs, and people who work for companies with fewer than 5 employees.
Yes.
So it would provide government-level support for various conflicts involving labor, wages, and much more. But still, we are looking at least 3 people who died in the process of clearing snow, at least. So apart from legal protections, the country does need to have, it seems, a better sense of safety, some might say, in the general work culture. If we were seeing schools being canceled, someone needs to stay home and take care of the kids who are staying home from school. So can we implement at least some hybrid work on those bad weather days?
Exactly. Because, I mean, what's worth more than your life?
Nothing.
Right. All right. Let's move on. We're going to talk about this particular generation, those born in the 1970s, whom some experts are calling the dual care generation.
Right. So the double burden of care generation. And we're talking very specifically about people who are born between the year 1970 and 1974. Apparently in Korea, they are the second baby boomer generation. However, 1 in 4 people born between these years, they're taking care of both their parents and their children. And then add to that, time does go by fast. What about their post-retirement life? If they cannot save up enough, then it's kind of a triple burden. So this is according to a Korea research survey commissioned by group 돌봄과 미래, the foundation, over 1,500 people, and they're in their 50s and 60s. So there's higher pressure being noted for people ages 50 to 54 over their health, post-retirement life, and care than the older demographic of those who are actually facing retirement in the group 55 to 64.
Yes. So what kind of care are we talking about specifically, though?
So the younger group, 50 to 54 age group, 76% said that they're worried they are both providing financial support for their children with an average of about 100만 won, 1 million won per month. And then 42% said that they're providing financial support for their parents, average of 620,000 won, 62만 won.
Yes.
And then 25% said they're doing both. So they're giving money to their children and parents, spending about 1.5 million won on average. That's 150만 won just to other people.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and then we look at the older generation in their 60s. Usually they will already have adult children out of their home, so not financially supporting them. So there's a less percentage of older generation having to provide double support for children and parents. So maybe this is perhaps why about half of the people in the 50 to 54 age group felt nervous about their employment and the wage gap that would happen before their pensions kicked in and post-retirement.
Yes.
Interestingly, they also felt more concerned about their health than their older counterparts, which is not usually, how age and health concerns would go. Only 40% said that they're in good physical health, and 62% said that they're in good mental health.
Okay.
Once again, these people are fairly young at 50 to 54.
True. Yes.
So experts said that when the second group of baby boomers, they retire in the next 10 years, there will be an explosive demand for care. So therefore called for policy research and development in line with this demand.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing this information on this dual care generation. And now for a final story. The U.S. elections for the Senate and House of Representatives are finally, officially over.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, because they had to count down to the very last ballot. It seems that there are more Korean Americans in the U.S. Capitol than ever.
There are. So we're looking at 1 Korean American senator and 3 Congress members. So 1 in Sangwon and 3 in Hawon.
Yes.
So the senator in question, we've covered him, Andy Kim, a New Jersey Democrat, in the Senate after 6 years in the House.
Yes.
And then let's look at the House of Representatives. The Hawon, we have Young Kim, Republican from California.
Right.
Marilyn Strickland from Washington, Democrat. Both are first Korean American women to be elected for a 3rd term in office. And a newly in freshman lawmaker Dave Min in California. Yeah, the Democratic Party.
Yes. And so the Korean American community is kind of like abuzz with excitement because, it's kind of like, finally.
Representation is important.
Yes.
So the Korean American Grassroots Conference said that especially having a Senate seat is an incredible accomplishment.
Right.
Senators are kind of considered to be 50 of the most powerful people in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So the president of this movement, Kim Dong-seok, analyzed that in the overall Asian American community, we usually do have Chinese Americans as, well, the biggest number and
Yes.
often the most influential. But because of the U.S.-China tensions in the past decade or so, their influence, at least in mainstream politics, has faltered.
Yes.
So in their void, Korean and Indian Americans have kind of gone in and been seen a rise in status.
Yes.
So Korean Americans expect this to not only boost their status in mainstream politics, widely reflect their voices, and also, and this is once again why representation is important, inspire young Korean Americans to seek out places in politics.
Yes, that's what we're hoping to see, more representation.
Right.
So we're not saying we want them all to be like Korean American. We're just saying, there's a high number of Asian Americans.
Because Senate
Korean Americans.
has an influence in foreign policy as
Yes.
well. So it does affect us in the motherland.
It does. All right. Well, thank you for the news. We'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
And we're ready for our first song of the last Friday of November. So here is White by Pinkle as requested by Benny.
Christmas time again. Me and you.
Welcome back. That song might have brought back some memories for some of you. But anyhow, today we're talking about the fact that we are, Busan, second largest city. That's what we always say. And, well, it's true, population-wise, but what about, the business side of it? Maybe not so much in terms of the numbers. Anyhow, so we're going to get to Kat's pick for today, so let's get to it. For today's Kat's Pick, I'm going to choose a clip. No, it's not the same one I recycled from last year, but I love the story between Wanda and Jamal. This is their 9th Thanksgiving together. So let's listen to the clip from NBC News.
Yeah, we got him.
Chances are you've heard what happened back in 2016 when Wanda Dench accidentally included a total stranger on a text telling her grandson what time to show up for Thanksgiving dinner. 17-year-old Jamal Hinton answering, "You're not my grandma. Can I still get a plate, though?"
I went over. We've been over every single year, and here we are today.
For 8 years.
Yes.
It's been more than a friendship.
I felt like almost ever since the first year, we were a family.
We spent hours, remember that, Jamal, in a restaurant,
Yep.
talking about everything under the sun. And there was no generation gap whatsoever.
Yeah.
And because of him, I see things a lot different.
They text, talk, and get together, lean on each other.
She's someone I can call, someone that I can go to with my problems. She'd help me sort them out. Someone I can go through to with my happiness and the good things I have going on in life, and she'll make me feel even better about them. She's amazing.
They've been through highs and lows. Wanda lost her husband during the pandemic, and earlier this year, she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
It's been a journey. It's been an awakening for me. I see some things different. I see what's more important now than what used to be. And now I appreciate every day.
Is this friendship one of the things you appreciate?
Oh, you better believe it. Jamal taught me so much about friendship.
Jamal and his girlfriend, Michaela, have supported Wanda through her treatment.
I was uplifted every day. I was always getting a text message. How you doing? What's up? What can we do for you?
And last month, when Jamal posted a special message from Wanda about her diagnosis, more than 8 million people saw it.
I feel like that's something that we could do, is just have everyone just send support and love.
They were so positive and so wonderful.
This year, hosting Thanksgiving would be a bit too much. So for the first time, Jamal is planning to host Wanda.
What's on the menu, Jamal?
So we're gonna have someone make the turkey. Everyone's gonna bring their own favorite side dish.
Love it.
Good food, good conversation. That is the best.
A holiday all about gratitude.
Jamal will always be a part of me, part of my family.
I love that Thanksgiving story. It's a tradition here on Morning Wave in Busan. And this time, it's a little different because Wanda is battling cancer. But you know what? Jamal stepped up. He has been supporting her, as you heard in the clip, with his girlfriend. I think that's so amazing. It goes beyond just once a year. They don't meet just once a year. They are true friends. So let me ask you this, Wavers. In the spirit of the American Thanksgiving, what are you grateful for this year? And this was Kat's Pick for today.
Stay tuned. You're listening to Morning Wave in Busan.
It's time for Foreign Press Highlights, which is Casey time. How are you? How are you?
Good morning, Catherine. How are you? I feel a little... I feel like I got attacked a little bit there for a second.
No.
Okay.
Hey, so what's your favorite Christmas song? That's what we're talking about today.
Are you serious?
Yes. I'm putting you on the spot.
Father Christmas by the Kinks.
Really?
Yeah, that was easy.
Easy.
Yeah, that was easy.
No brainer.
Yeah. It's the one I enjoy, and the lyrics are sarcastic. It's funny. It's a funny song, and it's a rock and roll song. Yeah, yeah. Yep. Father Christmas by the Kinks. Second place would go to "Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree." By, who sings that? The original. Maybe the original.
The original version.
It's a woman who made it popular. I don't know if she wrote it, but Brenda. I want to say
Brenda for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well,
PD, I'll put you on that.
Yeah.
She says no.
Put her
I've got
on the
no
spot.
authority, no power here. Respect, I'm wondering. Perhaps.
Okay. So we are going to jump into foreign press highlights. So what
Yes.
stories have you brought us?
Wow, this week was hard for me to pick. There was so many fascinating things I read this week. I'm going to just throw out binge eating to avoid military conscription as one I wish we had time to talk about. However, I'm going to start with this one because apparently this is a national debate. Have you already talked about Jung Woo-sung?
Oh, that was like the talk of the town, like
That's
first
why I
thing
figured,
Monday.
yeah.
Like,
And it's
everybody
all
was
over the
talking about
press.
it. It's still
Like,
and
not
it's-
just Korean press, I mean.
No. It was like I saw it on the BBC. I mean,
Yeah.
is that? Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah. And so I
was kind
went
of
with the
big news.
BBC version of the story, but I mean, you could just throw a rock and hit any international
Yes,
outlet.
yes.
They were going to talk about it. So the BBC headline was South Korean star's baby scandal sparks national debate. And without, if I pay attention to the news, obviously, but if I weren't, looking specifically for Korean news each week, I would not have known, to be honest. This is one of those things that just goes over. Celebrity news is not something I'm into. So, but apparently this is a big deal.
It is, and it's kind of a part of a larger discussion, though.
That's why I picked it.
Yes, it's not just his personal,
But it is.
thing. It is.
But it is.
I know. That's why it's like so. I don't know.
So would you?
Mixed feelings.
Okay, all right. I'll give
tell
a
us.
little explanation. Then I want your.
What does the BBC say first?
Okay, so they do introduce what the situation is. So this previous Sunday, as far as I understand, because this story kind of blew up fast. He's 51 years old. He's an A-lister in the South Korean film industry, as they say. He confirmed via his agency that he's the father of the newborn son to 35-year-old model Moon Ga-bi. First of all, why does he need to confirm anything? I'm confused about that. Comment?
Apparently, the outlet, they were going to run with a story, or they already had,
another. Okay.
They were going to get outed. So
Okay.
I guess he confirmed. Then the rumors were swirling in. She had already said that she had a baby, and people
Right.
were like, "Oh, so who's the father?"
Is it anybody's business though?
That's why it's like you're a public figure,
Sure.
but on the other hand, you have a private life.
You would think.
Yes, you would think.
Thanks.
So here in Korea, though.
I have an announcement. I'm
yes.
just kidding.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
Casey!
I'm kidding.
Oh, I almost had a heart attack once. Like, what?
Okay, so
What's your announcement?
my
your
announcement
cilantro
is
are not growing well.
actually I've used it all up. I think I
Mine
gave
are
you
not
advice
growing.
off the air.
Okay.
They're not growing?
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll talk about that
All
later.
right, I'll give you
Okay.
advice later. But once you harvest, you got to have another batch ready.
Okay.
Okay, but to get back to this story, I was trying to put myself in Jung Woo-sung's shoes, and I was thinking, okay, this has been made public, sort of. Nobody knows I'm the dad yet. Is it strange that he had to confirm it through his agency and not himself?
That's how it goes
Yeah, that's it, huh?
in Korea. Usually, they have like a press release, a statement from their agency.
That was the
Yes.
case on Sunday. Okay, and as you mentioned, like the mother, Moon Ga-bi, she announced the child's birth via Insta without mentioning the father. So
Yes.
she said the pregnancy was unexpected and she was completely unprepared for the sudden news. Which also strikes me as like an interesting comment to make after your child's born. But okay, I mean, all of this was surprising to me. But basically, through the statement through his agency, Jung Woo-sung basically discussed that he and Moon are discussing the best way to raise the child. Again, like, is that anybody's business for them? Do they have to say that?
And the thing is, like, I think he's like part of the management of his agency. Like,
so
he
he's
either
in kind of
co-founded
upper-
it, or he's one of the executives. So
Okay.
it kind of,
So he's kind of a spokesman for himself in a
Yes,
way. Okay.
kind of.
So according to the BBC, the revelation that he fathered a child with a woman to whom he's not married has triggered a national debate over celebrity conduct,
Yes.
non-traditional family structures. He has pledged to fulfill his responsibilities as the father, but his silence on whether he plans to marry Moon or not has drawn fierce backlash in what they call the conservative country where births outside marriage are seen as taboo. And they also mention in the article that South Korea has a notoriously high-pressure entertainment industry with celebrities often held to inordinately high social standards and placed under extreme scrutiny. This article blowing up like it did kind of indicates that.
Right. No. And the thing is, this is where, like, a part of me, I understand both cultures.
Okay.
The
So maybe you
Korean
can help
kind
me.
of conservative culture when it comes to things like that.
Right.
And then on the other hand, like if he had been a star in, let's say, Europe or the States, I don't think it would have been as big of a news story.
It would be, TMZ reported and
then-
most people would his fans would care and nobody else would care.
Right. So I'm not saying what's good or bad. So
Yeah,
please don't get me
that's just-
wrong. I'm just
that's
saying
just a
they're
different reaction.
Culture, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in Korea, though, he's getting a lot of backlash.
And they said it's coming from a lot of places, especially like lawmakers are publicly commenting on it. They said, for example, one unnamed lawmaker in the article who spoke to a conservative newspaper said that his decision to have a child outside marriage is something unthinkable in this country of social mores. And no matter how much times are changing, Korea's tradition and public sentiment must be kept righteous, according to one lawmaker. But then he got attacked by, just people on the net, which, of course, that's going to happen, right?
Yes.
One person said, Jung Woo-sung is pretending to be a good guy, saying he will fulfill all his duty. A child does not grow on money alone. Okay. Another comment was, it's not a problem marrying after having a child. It's that he pretended to be such an ethical person so far, which indicates that person thinks that is unethical then.
Yes.
So that is the
So
problem.
therefore.
So, okay, as people are
Yes.
kind of revealing their real opinions about just the idea of having children outside of marriage, basically.
Yeah. And so a lot of people disappointed.
Yeah. But he
I'm
does
not
have his
gonna-
defenders as well.
Yes.
They note that in the article. Also, some politicians, Lee So-young from the Democratic Party of Korea, saying deciding to live with someone is a deeply personal and existential choice.
Yes.
To assume that simply having a child obligates people to marry and take on the duties of cohabitation and mutual support feels suffocating, according to this lawmaker. And there are also a progressive newspaper they mention as well, says that society's kind of changing and this kind of thing might not be uncommon in the future. It's kind of the indication there.
Right. So it is what it is.
Right.
But let's move on to our next story for now, because I know if you're going to you're already disappointed in the person you are. And then others might say, hey, it's his personal life.
Yeah.
So we're not going to comment here nor there. So let's go on to our second story.
Fair enough.
Yes.
So our second story actually featured Busan in the news.
Yes.
And this is another one that has been taken up by a lot of international outlets. It's all about the fact that plastic pollution is being discussed right here. I think until Sunday, I think they said is the final day.
Yes.
So this was from Al Jazeera, but again, many outlets have reported this. Leaders make a push for plastic pollution treaty at talks in South Korea. We're at none other than down the street right here.
Literally.
Really down the street. And
INC5, yes.
yeah, and so basically what the big deal is kind of what it sounds like to me in this article and others I've read is that it's a group of countries versus another group of countries. Some countries want plastic production to just be cut in half, if not altogether done away with.
Yes.
And other countries are like, well, hold up. What about recycling? And it's a big disagreement that is taking place right here. It's led, they say, by Norway and Rwanda, 66 other countries, plus the European Union. Basically, they're trying to get the total amount of plastic on Earth reduced. And that includes everything from the design, production, consumption, and then eventual disposal. But several countries are, especially island countries, are actually the ones, facing all the pollution, really, because a lot of the pollution that from other countries just washes up on their shores. They've also got rising tides to deal with in island countries, and they're like, can we get a little help here? And apparently the talks are contentious.
Yes, indeed. So, but really important that we are focusing on this. And we've talked about this INC, the discussions.
Yeah.
We want it to be binding.
That's
and
the other
importance
thing. Will
of
they be
this.
binding, right?
Will it be binding is the big question. So actually, we're going to have to call it a wrap for today.
That's
but
all right.
Of course, we'll see you
We're
next
calling it a
week.
wrap, but not a plastic wrap.
No, not a plastic wrap,
Thank
just
you.
a wrap. Thank you, Casey.
have a great weekend.
on a Friday.
죄송합니다.
썰렁해, 좋아요.
죄송합니다.
So on that note, we have the photo of Tommy? Can we show that real quick? No? Okay, because Tommy sent in a photo. He said he trekked to work. It took 2.5 hours to actually, and this is in the Suwon area. These are the photos he sent in because he mentioned how so many trees had fallen down, and that is
Colorado.
Yes. I mean, but this was from yesterday. Wow. That's how bad it was. Anyhow, so long, like Casey, here's Baby, It's Cold Outside. This is by Michael Bublé and Idina Menzel.
Can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I gotta go away.
Baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has been
Hoping that you dropped in.
very nice.
I'll hold your hands, they're just like
My
ice.
mother will start to worry.
Beautiful, what's your
My father
hurry?
will be pacing the floor.
Listen to that fireplace
So
roar.
really I'd better scurry.
Beautiful, please don't
Oh,
hurry.
baby, just to have a drink more.
I'll put some records on while I
The
pour.
neighbors might think,
Baby, it's bad out there.
say what's in this drink.
No cabs to be had out there.
I wish I knew how
Your eyes are like starlight
to
now.
break this spell.
I'll take your hat.
Oh, thank
Your
you.
hair looks
I ought to
swell.
say no, no,
Mind
no,
if
sir.
I move in
At least I'm
closer?
gonna say that I tried.
What's the sense of hurting my
I
pride?
really can't say.
Baby, don't hold out. Baby, it's cold outside.
You're very pushy, you know.
I like to think of it as opportunistic.
I simply must go.
Baby, it's cold outside.
The answer is no.
But baby, it's cold outside.
The welcome has been
How lucky that you
so
dropped in.
nice and warm.
Look out the window at that
My
star.
sister will be suspicious.
Gosh, your lips look
My brother
delicious.
will be there at the door.
Waves upon a tropical
My
shore.
maiden aunt's mind is
Gosh,
vicious.
your lips are
But maybe
delicious.
just a cigarette more.
Never such a blizzard before.
Your Bridge to the World. BEFM 부산 영어방송.
Really can't. time is now 8 o'clock.
Good morning, Dynamic Busan.
Yeah, you're waking up. Time to shake it up. Tell the world good morning and find out what's going on.
Well, hi there, folks. There's everything from comedy to lively chat to music.
Broadcasting from a room about the size of your closet.
All calls are recorded. What show is this?
Live from Korea's dynamic city, this is Morning Wave in Busan.
I'm sorry, who'd you say you were?
It's now 8 o'clock and this is news highlights. Bank of Korea makes surprise back-to-back rate cut. The Bank of Korea, or BOK, yesterday lowered its benchmark interest rate by 0.25% for the second consecutive session, taking the rate to 3%. This was a surprise decision as many analysts expected a rate freeze amid the Korean won's considerable slump in recent weeks, along with high household debt. The Monetary Policy Committee hinted at possible cuts down the road. It has recently lowered next year's economic growth outlook to 1.9%. The country is also facing uncertainties stemming from the incoming Donald Trump administration, prompting its cuts to mitigate downside risks to the economy, the BOK said in a statement. Yoon pledges enhanced support for premature babies. President Yoon Suk-yeol yesterday vowed to increase support for the birth, treatment, and care of premature babies to help lessen the burden on their parents. Yoon made the remarks during his visit to St. Mary's Hospital in Seoul, where he met with the parents of quintuplets in September, addressed concerns over premature babies that are at a higher health risk. The government on the same day announced that it will establish 2 critical maternal and newborn centers and double the cap for medical expense support for premature babies to 20 million won. EU gives final approval of Korean Air Asiana Airlines merger. Korean Air has announced that the European Commission, or EC, the executive body of the European Union, has given its final approval of the 1.8 trillion won merger with Asiana Airlines. The airline said that the EC confirmed that Korean Air fulfilled all the required conditions, including divesting 4 European routes to T-Way and selling Asiana's cargo business to Air Incheon. Korean Air said that it has submitted the EC's final approval to the U.S. Department of Justice and plans to complete the transaction within the year. New Jeans terminates contract with Adore. K-pop girl group New Jeans announced that they are terminating their contract with agency Adore effective at midnight in protest against the company's dispute with its former CEO. The group held a press conference yesterday and announced that neither HYBE nor Adore have shown any willingness to improve the situation or accept their demands and expressed their intent to continue working with former CEO Min Hee-jin. The group has previously warned of termination unless former CEO Min was not reinstated following the removal of her from her position amid a dispute between Min and HYBE. Israel strikes Hezbollah facility after claims of ceasefire violation. Israel Defense Forces, or IDF, said Thursday local time that it had carried out an airstrike on a Hezbollah facility in southern Lebanon as residents returned to their homes on the second day of a fragile ceasefire. The Lebanese army says Israeli forces have violated the ceasefire several times since it went into effect Wednesday. The IDF claims suspects arriving in several areas in southern Lebanon constitutes a violation of the ceasefire. Earlier, the IDF said that it fired warning shots and used drones at suspicious individuals in several areas of southern Lebanon and said it will actively enforce violations of the ceasefire agreement. And this was News Highlights. It's time for Issue Wagelwaggel. Haley's back.
I'm back.
Yes. So we're going to start with, the cold and another snow-related story. So if, let's say, your car kind of slips in your apartment's underground garage, and which is quite common, and there's an accident, so who is at fault or who has to pay for the damages?
Right. That's a good question. And thankfully, we have precedents. So this is a case from January of 2021. A driver went into their apartment's underground garage.
Yes.
It's a fairly steep ramp. He or she, they didn't slow down too much was what the claim was. So I'm like, if you claim that you didn't slow down too much.
Okay.
Anyways, the car's tires, they slipped over this snow that had piled up at the entrance, and the car crashed into two other vehicles. Yeah. So the driver's auto insurance initially paid a total of 15 million won, 1,500만 won, for repairs, mostly on the driver's car, but also a little bit on two other cars. Then filed a civil suit, 민사 suit, against the apartment's insurance company for compensations.
Okay, so very, very curious. How did the court rule on this case?
The apartment was mostly liable. 거의 아파트 잘못이다. 아파트의 책임이다. not 잘못, 책임. Because in Korean law, we have what's called structure liability, 공작물 책임. Basically, if there are accidents that are caused by problems involving structures like roads, bridges, and parking garages, the persons or entities responsible for management of said structures are responsible, are liable.
Okay, now we know.
So Seoul Central Court's Civil Division, they sided with the plaintiff, the driver's insurance company, but only to 90%.
So not 100.
Exactly. So the driver wasn't completely free from blame because the court's ruling was that the parking management, they do have a liability to clear the snow. That was the thing, because there was snow piled up, and make sure that entryways and surfaces were not frozen. But it had snowed quite a bit, once again, January of 2021, and it was expected. It was within a realm of expectation and common sense that the roads would have been frozen from all the heavy snow, and the driver had a responsibility to slow down, especially on a downward slope. So the point is, clear the snow, and slow down.
Yes.
Drive safe.
Yes. So thanks for telling us about this. So now we know in case something like that, similar happens.
Right.
Now you know. All right, moving on. When the weather is this cold and dry, there are higher risks of fire, right? But this is an odd way of checking for fire and fire safety.
Right. As Stephanie says, the weather is so dry. She hates that spot, by the way. I'm sorry. I had to throw shade because she told me yesterday. She's like, it's so embarrassing. And I'm like,
every time.
Well, let me relive that for you.
So fake, yes.
Makes me laugh. Anyways.
We love you, Stephanie.
We do. This is all in good jest.
Yes.
So we're going to go to Gyeongbuk for this story. Their fire department received a call, this was on November 18th in the afternoon, about a fire at a field at this 논두렁 in Sangju.
Okay.
So they sent 2 fire trucks. One arrived 8 minutes later, and they put out the fire immediately. It was basically a small fire. And then these men come up to the firefighters, told them good job, and left. And it's like, sir, who are you? So who are these men? The provincial council members, 도의원. Yeah. And and they set the fire.
What?
Yeah. So how is this not arson?
Yes.
So it turns out apparently the provincial office is going through an audit, and the council members, they admitted to it. They used a lighter to create this bonfire, and then had an employee of their construction and fire committee under the provincial council call 119 and report the fire.
Wow.
So they were testing them.
They were testing
them. This wasn't an accident. They set the fire and said, hey, call, let's time them and see how long it takes them to get here and put out that fire. So the firefighters, the union, lodged a strong complaint to the provincial council, saying that this is an abuse of authority and 갑질, beyond the abuse of authority.
Right.
Because this wasn't a part of the regular training, nor a permitted scheduled random inspection.
Okay.
Well, the council committee's members, we do have to hear two sides, said they were apparently on their way from an administrative audit of a local fire station.
Yes.
And somebody had this brilliant idea to, hey, let's do our own random check. And they are not really apologizing that this was an attempt to check the on-site situation for the protection of the safety of the people. Many people do. And their claim was that the fields were so damp, so the fire really didn't catch anyway.
But the thing is, wasn't there a law broken? Like purposely setting a fire? I mean, we have all these
without
PSAs
consultations
ahead of time. But I mean, we have all these PSAs that we are, reading out saying like, please be careful, and no open flames. It just irks me that they're testing firefighters this way.
Right. And so one comment said, if you don't notify the authorities of a training or an inspection and start a fire, isn't this an act of arson?
No, I'm serious.
But I'm like,
look into
legally,
it, somebody.
I mean, these are lawmakers.
But as we know, lawmakers sometimes don't follow the law. I'm just saying, generally speaking, not these, but I'm just saying, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Next up, let's go over some things that were said by Elon Musk this week.
It's like a sub-segment under this segment.
Yes.
All right, so he mentioned South Korea's population problem again on his site, social media X, saying 2/3 of Korea will disappear every generation, population collapse. And then he also posted this population graph. It was based on a World Bank figures, pointing to the fertility rate last year's 0.68, long work days, low wages, and dwindling marriage rates as some of the constraints on childbearing. So he's, shall we say, a population proponent. And it's not the first time that
That's a nice way of saying that.
Yeah.
He wants to, he wants everybody to procreate and procreate like.
No, he does not want everybody.
Oh,
he
no,
wants
just
smart
the elite,
people. The
smart
elite.
people.
Yeah, and we're almost direct quoting / paraphrasing him. It's not the first time he's mentioned South Korea. Musk for himself, at least is, practicing what he preaches. He has 11 children. Yeah, with his, once again, none of our business, but with, I believe, 3 different birth mothers. So
I don't know. I don't keep count.
We don't keep really count, at least, let's say. So yeah.
So smart people need to have more babies, is what he says. He's also going to be heading the Department of Government Efficiency, and I guess has gone on about how to downsize, but in a kind of unconventional way.
Fearful way, according to some people. So, whenever you downsize, company, government agency, it does involve layoffs, letting people go, 해고, firing.
Yes.
But Musk published the names, actual real names of government workers he would like to fire.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And this is on his, once again, X account, and he has 205 million followers. So these government workers apparently have, and I'm quoting CNN, relatively obscure climate-related government positions. So not well known, not to say they're unimportant. But each post about these real-life people's names, they've been viewed tens of millions of times. The individuals' named then are now getting subject to negative attention, to put it mildly. At least 1 out of these 4, this particular individual, as a woman, has deleted her social media account. Here's the thing, though. Yes, government officials' names are available as public data.
Yes.
But not many people would actually go on a government site to view these names. But having someone like Elon Musk, once again, 205 million followers, posted, puts that under a whole different light. But this isn't the first time. A former federal government employee in the U.S., she had been singled out by Musk previously because this person worked for, it was an issue with Tesla and an environment agency, basically claims that it's Musk's way of intimidating people to either quit or send a signal to all other agencies and people that you might be next. By the way, that particular individual received death threats after her name going public and had to move.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that is the influence of this man. So, but he did not do that. So we're not saying he did anything wrong.
Issue a death threat, but he did
just
post
want to make
the
that
name.
clear.
Right.
Yes. All right. Now, Billboard has released a list of the greatest pop stars of the 21st century. So,
off the top of your head, greatest pop star of the 21st century.
Oh my gosh.
Go.
I'm gonna remain mum because who would put it? Okay, Haley.
All right.
So
I know we don't want Swifties or the Beehive or
I don't want
anyone else
people
like on us. All right.
Yeah.
So actually, we don't know yet.
We don't know.
The biggest, number one.
Number
we
one.
don't know yet. And
Do we have like the
we have
others?
until number 2.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Okay,
so
there you
the
go.
magazine has been gradually, it's been a long process and I couldn't wait any longer.
Yes.
Unveiling this ranking, consisting of artists who have definitely defined pop stardom in the last 25 years. So we're going to jump to the top 10. Number 10, Adele. Yeah, makes sense.
Yes.
Number 9, Ariana Grande.
Okay.
And then we're going to jump through the line. Justin Bieber, Ye or Kanye West, Britney Spears. Now in top 5, Lady Gaga. 4, Drake. Number 3, Rihanna. And number 2, I mean, there are only like 2 people left.
Yes.
Taylor Swift.
Oh, so the number 1 must be Beyonce.
I think so too. So Billboard said, about Taylor Swift, because they published a lengthy article on her.
Yes.
Through honoring all the traits that made her different, she got to this unique place.
Yes.
And Swifties have expressed anger that she's not number 1 because she has a very strong fandom. I mean, that's not maybe the rule, but that's what fans do. They ardently support the
They
people
advocate
they love.
for their artists.
Right. However, Billboard explained that Swifties should consider, and this is kind of a compliment, Taylor Swift is young. How later in the millennium she got her start compared to people like Britney Spears or Kanye West or maybe even perhaps most likely Beyonce.
Yes.
And both in the genre that she has kind of pioneered from country to pop and just music in general.
Sure.
Right. And by the way, because I know there's like one artist that you're wondering about, BTS was in 19th place, right above Bruno Mars.
Oh,
yeah.
that's awfully high.
That is very high.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
And Billboard, we should say, is a U.S. outlet.
It is. So there's always going to be whoever's choosing this, there's always bias. There's, I don't know what metric they're using.
Right.
But yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for going over all the issues, and we'll check in with you Monday.
Have a great weekend.
Everybody, this was Haley. And now we're going to get to a song request from 2-3. Oh, weather and traffic first, though. And then we're going to get to the song. Because I was excited when I saw the song, because I really want to hear this song. Here's your traffic and weather. Here is your traffic update. There's a couple accidents to report on Gudoklo from Nampo to Jagalchi intersection. Right before Jagalchi intersection, there is a broken down cargo truck. Actually, that's one accident. And then a separate one, is a broken down cargo truck on Gwanmun-dero from Mora to Tangam direction, right past the Baegang Tunnel toll gate. So there are 2 separate issues right there. Also, congestion on Chungang-dero from Yangjong intersection to Songgong 3-way intersection. Looking slow on Yeonsuro from Shili 3-way intersection to Mangmi-goge as well. And also some backup on Gaya-dero from Naenjeong intersection to Jure intersection. As for the weather, we're having a chilly morning. It's 4. It's going to go up to 10 degrees Celsius, but we can't complain because elsewhere across the country, there are places where it is sub-zero right now. Look out for slippery roads from the heavy snow that may have frozen overnight. Looking ahead to tomorrow, we can expect a low of 4, a high of 13, and on Sunday, a little bit warmer with a low of 5 and an expected high of 14. Both days, they say, are going to be clear. This was your traffic and weather. And now, that song request from 2391, Snowman by Sia.
Don't cry, snowman, not in front of me. Who'll get your tears if you can't catch me, darling? If you can't catch me, darling. Don't cry, snowman, don't leave me this way. A bottle of water can't hold me close, baby. Can't hold me close, baby. I want you to know that I'm never leaving, 'cause I miss the snow till death will be freezing. Yeah, you are my home for all seasons. So come on, let's go. Let's go below. at the North Pole and live happily. Please don't cry no tears now. It's Christmas, baby. My snowman and me. My snowman and me, baby. Don't cry, snowman. Don't you fear the sun. Who'll carry me without legs to run, honey? Without legs to run, honey. Don't cry, snowman. Don't you shed a tear. Oh, hear my secrets if you don't have ears, baby. If you don't have ears, baby. I want you to know that I'm never leaving, 'cause I miss the snow till death will be freezing. Yeah, you are my home for all seasons. So come on, let's go. Let's go below zero and hide from the sun. I love you forever, oh, we'll have some fun. Yes, let's hit the North Pole and live happily. Please don't cry no tears now. It's Christmas, baby. My snowman and me. My snowman and me, baby.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we've been kind of trying to get you, lift your spirits, to get you in the holiday spirit here in Korea. It's Friday. I know some of you are celebrating Thanksgiving stateside, but today, Christmas songs, what are your favorites? And there have been such a slew of songs that you have been mentioning, and they're like all over the place. It's not just like the really trendy ones like, Mariah. How can we not talk about Mariah Carey and All I Want for Christmas Is You? So that's obviously a very popular one. Benny saying, Santa Claus is coming to town. White Christmas, Let It Snow, Christmas in Our Hearts. So those are just of his favorite songs. And Leslie had so many. She's like, I can talk Christmas songs all day. And she really can. She's like, I have so many favorites. 2,000 Miles by the Pretenders. Do They Know It's Christmas by Band-Aid? Oh, I love that one. Fairy Tale in New York. But it goes on. And one of her favorites is Christmas Love by Jimin as well. So lots to choose from. And we will definitely play maybe one or two more today, depending on the time. For the closing song, I think we might have one more for you coming up from the listeners out there. So thank you for chiming in. And yes, it is indeed the last Friday of November. So let's make, today and, of course, the last month count as well. And I'll be back with our special interview. The recent ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hezbollah marks a temporary kind of pause in over just a year of constant conflict, bringing cautious hope for the region's war-weary civilians. However, beneath this momentary reprieve lies a series of complex challenges and unanswered questions that could reignite tensions. And, I just mentioned in the news how, both sides are kind of claiming that the other side has broken this ceasefire deal. But let's get into the details of this. We have invited to the airwaves Dr. Martin Kier, who is a lecturer in the Department of Government and International Relations at the University of Sydney. Hi, welcome to our program.
Hi, good morning.
Yes. If you can explain in further detail, what are some of the key points of this ceasefire deal between Israel and Hezbollah?
Well, under the current deal, Israel has 60 days to withdraw its forces out of southern Lebanon. And in that time, Hezbollah is also supposed to withdraw its forces north of the Litani River. This is essentially the same deal that has existed since the late 1970s, with slight variations depending on conflict. So it's really nothing new. And in many ways, it simply passes the responsibility for this conflict to the Trump administration. 60 days would put it at the end of January. So that would be after the inauguration of President Trump.
Ah, yes, indeed. And so in terms of this ceasefire, what distinguishes this one from previous agreements? For example, UN Resolution 1701. How is this different?
It's not really different at all. It really just restates the same conditions on both sides. Now, whether Israel withdraws all of its forces from southern Lebanon, at what stage it withdraws its forces from southern Lebanon, whether Hezbollah will withdraw its forces north of the Litani River, what does that mean? What does Israel say that means? Because I think people need to understand that Hezbollah is much more than just simply an armed group. It provides all basic services to people in southern Lebanon, regardless of whether they are Shia or not. So that there are a lot of organisations, facilities that belong to Hezbollah, like schools and hospitals, medical centres, all sorts of government institutions that are run by Hezbollah. So it really depends on what Israel means by all of Hezbollah, and it could take a very literal line, as it has done to date, and anything that is associated with Hezbollah has been a target. So we'll just have to wait and see, I think, as to exactly what transpires over the next 60 days.
So this 60-day time frame of this ceasefire, where you said both sides are supposed to be withdrawing their forces, what are some of the potential challenges and risks? And I hear that there's already been accusations of both sides accusing each other that the other side has broken the ceasefire deal already.
Well, I think this is where it really becomes quite tricky, because the people that were evacuated from southern Lebanon, a lot of those people are associated with Hezbollah in one shape, manner or form. Also, Hezbollah is responsible for policing. So if it wants to move its forces its membership back into southern Lebanon to establish law and order, to prevent looting, to establish some sort of control, human rights aid, etc., for people there, then Israel can take a very hard line and say anything associated with Hezbollah is therefore a target and therefore contravening the ceasefire. Now, the Lebanese state really hasn't had the capacity to provide these basic services to southern Lebanon, which is why it is in some respects outsourced these responsibilities to Hezbollah.
And speaking of this deal, though, Dr. Here, the official signatories to this deal does not include Hezbollah, from what I understand. Is that correct?
That's correct. Israel and the United States don't want to be seen to be directly negotiating with a designated terrorist group. So there are members of the Lebanese government who are negotiating on Hezbollah's behalf, and then relaying terms and conditions from both sides, acting as intermediaries between the United States and Israel and Hezbollah.
I see. Thanks for clarifying that. And with this ceasefire, I don't want some of our listeners or viewers to mistake this as being, it's not the same as a ceasefire between Israel and, let's say, what's happening in Gaza per se, because I know that some people are kind of linking everything together, and obviously there is indirect effect. However, it is important to note that this is definitely just Israel and the Lebanese army via, of course, the army, but with Hezbollah, correct?
That's correct, and it's a completely separate deal between Israel and Hezbollah, and any sort of ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. I think also what we need to understand is that 60 days provides a very convenient rest period for the Israeli army that has been undertaking action in southern Lebanon. It would allow them to redeploy to Gaza, rearm, rest, There has been a $680 million arms deal just signed recently between Israel and the United States.
Yes.
So that would be replenishing Israel's war stocks and ammunition stocks. So this 60 days would allow the Israeli Defense Force to redeploy from southern Lebanon back to Gaza. And I think we'll see an escalation of military action within Gaza, all under this umbrella of trying to crush Hamas.
Right. But speaking of Hamas, do you think that this will change Israel's take or their stance, how they strategize in Gaza? Are they going to take a book out of this and then parlay that over? Or do you think it's just completely different, the attack and the defense?
It's very different. This is an ideological battle in some ways between Israel as a Zionist state and seeking, this is the most nationalist Israeli government in history, and it sees the opportunity that Hamas has now been so degraded to realize the Zionist dream of an Israeli state from the river to the sea.
Yes.
I think it's important to understand that Hamas is much more than simply a movement. It is a manifestation of Palestinian resistance to Israeli occupation that's been going on since 1967. So this goal of crushing Hamas, I think, is impossible because it exists within the territories and outside of the territories. I think what's happening is that Israel wants to find those remaining hostages dead or alive.
Yes.
Netanyahu doesn't want to be beholden to Hamas to release any hostages dead or alive. He wants the Israeli Defense Force to find those hostages and will continue attacking and bombing and destroying Gaza until he does.
And I know it's really early on, but do you think that this temporary ceasefire may lead to a longer solution, or do you think this is just kind of a reprieve, a break?
I think it's simply a temporary halt to hostilities between Hezbollah and Israel. There is a long-standing antipathy between the two. I mean, Hezbollah was created to resist Israeli occupation when Israel invaded Lebanon in 1982. So there are strong links there. Hezbollah classifies itself as a resistance movement to Israel, Israel's regional power. Israel still occupies territory in southern Lebanon. Apart from this current deal in the Bekaa Valley, it will never relinquish control of that. So that is an area of natural antipathy. So this is merely a temporary reprieve in the hostilities between Hezbollah and Israel.
I see. Well, of course, we're going to have to watch and wait as this is very, early days. And we do certainly thank you for your expertise and time on this very hot issue. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
This was Dr. Martin Kier, and we learned about the latest, about the ceasefire deal between Israel and the Lebanese army, of course, representing Hezbollah, as Dr. Kier just explained to us. So we're hoping that it's not just a temporary reprieve, but it sounds like it might be. But we will continue to follow this story and, of course, what happens in Gaza as well. This was your special interview. And we are going to take a short song break. So this is Photographed by Off on Off, as requested by Drift Monkey.
잠이 든 도시와 빛나는 네 눈동자 쏟아질 것 같아 한참을 바라본다 모두 담아두고파서 이렇게 라디오에 흘러나오는 노래를 따라 불러줘 함께 이 순간을 나눌 때면 세상이 멈춘 듯한 걸 Close your eyes, take my time remember this moment. Remember this moment. Slow down before dawn. Everything is everywhere. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. 하나도 빠짐없이 다. Yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. 계속 그렇게 있어줘. Oh, yeah, yeah. 눈을 감고 있는데도 더 선명해지는 듯한 걸. 밤이 다시 해를 찾으면 떠오르는 기억들 라디오에 흘러나오는 노래를 따라 불러줘. 함께 이 순간을 나눌 때면 세상이 멈춘 듯한 걸. Close your eyes, take my time. Let's remember this moment. Remember this moment. Slow it down before dawn. Everything is everywhere. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. 하나도 빠짐없이 다. Yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. 계속 그렇게 있어줘. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. 계속 그렇게 있어줘. 우리 함께한 이 밤 다시 만날 수 있다면 난 두려워. Yeah.
Get your local up-to-date news from Korea and abroad right here on Morning Wave in Busan with Catherine. Stay tuned.
It is now time for Vasana. And what in the world? That was your dancing?
Yeah, exactly. That was a what in the world dance. That one.
No, because you were saying you're like so tired and exhausted from work. So I wanted to lift your spirits. I'm like, let's see
Dancing's
you dance.
not going to do it.
It's not going to do it? Okay. Maybe singing, but not dancing. Got it. Next time.
Singing?
Note to self. Don't ask Vasana to dance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you've seen my dance.
Haley. Oh, and he's allowed to dance, says Haley. No, he's not.
No,
Haley, we do not discriminate.
Haley can dance, though. Haley's a good dancer.
Are we talking about the same Haley outside?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Okay.
She's
I
got
guess
moves.
if, according to your scale,
On
like
my
according,
scale.
you know,
mean
compared
my
to
scale
you,
of dancing, yeah.
compared to, we just love making fun of.
Vasana's here. Haley's here.
Yes. No, it's all relative. But hey, what's your?
BTS. Sorry.
Don't put yourself in the same conversation as BTS.
Okay,
Hello.
is that another column?
Yeah, different column.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Our text topic.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Christmas song?
You want an honest answer?
Yes, of course I want your honest answer. Be honest.
Okay. I hate Christmas.
You hate Christmas.
That killed the conversation.
Okay. Why do you hate
well,
Christmas?
Not that I hate Christmas
Right.
now. It's just that when I was young, Christmas was a time for family to get together.
Yes.
All families. So we all gathered together at one person's place every Christmas.
Right.
For 2 or 3 days. And
That's a little long, right?
yes. And so
It's like a chuseok.
I'm not
Yes.
sure what other families are like, but when family members get together.
What happens? Fighting?
Yeah, fighting.
Oh, quarreling.
And, yeah,
what
it's
did
always-
they fight over?
Always the same thing. Money, future, who's looking after grandma.
Aw. Oh,
It's
so
your turn. No,
depressing.
it's not. I looked after grandma for the last 2 months.
They weren't fighting over who gets to watch over grandma. It's like they were aw.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This is
No wonder you have like not so.
But the food was great. The food.
Oh,
the
that's
food
important.
Was great. Yeah.
Yesterday, I had a real Thanksgiving dinner
At
at an
home,
event that was Bobby invited us. Bobby from Monday Everybody Business Perspectives. He invited us, and so Haley and I went yesterday.
At Guan?
It wasn't at a. It was at a.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
fair
so I had real turkey, and it had been such a long time. It kind of brought like little tears to my eyes because it was turkey.
What did the Korean mother turkey say to her baby turkey?
The Korean mother turkey,
Say to her baby turkey.
baby turkey. What did she say?
Gobuljima.
Oh, gobble,
that-
gobble, gobble, 가불지마.
Yeah, gabuljima. So
Okay.
you only get it because
Yes.
if you know English, because
And Korean.
and Korean.
Yes, if you're
Yeah.
bilingual.
Yeah.
We got it.
If you
That was
don't,
funny.
then yeah. No, I'm sorry.
Now let's get into what in the world.
죄송합니다.
네. You and Casey, both of you on Friday with your AJCAG. Where's Dr. Liu? When you
We
came
haven't even finished yet. We haven't even started
there.
yet. I've got more.
Yes.
So let's start today with a driving story. Start off today with a driving story.
Who's driving?
I'm going to call this a rodent report.
Ew.
And I've got more cheesy lines coming
okay.
up. I'm not sure whether you used them all a couple of weeks ago when we did that cheese story.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, we got some more. Anyway,
Okay.
so rats.
Rats, like real rats?
Real rats.
Chi?
And
Yes.
driving. And cars.
Oh.
Have you heard about that?
No.
Okay, so Virginia University scientists, I've got a picture of them here. Virginia scientists have gone full fast and furious. Training rats to drive tiny cars made out of containers, cereal containers. Oh, there it is. Isn't that cute?
Oh, that's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Aw, would you raise a rat as a pet?
Yeah, if you do.
Yes.
Yeah, some people do.
Yeah, some
which
people
I found
do.
out a few weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
you
kinda
can get
cute.
a car for your rat. Yeah. So their motivation, Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops?
Fruit Loops. So
The cereal?
The cereal.
Oh, the really, really sugary.
Yep. So proof that even rats know a breakfast is the most important food meal of the day. But here's the twist.
Yes, what's the twist?
These rodent racers love hitting the road, meaning they love driving fast.
Like literally?
Yeah.
Oh.
So researchers found that these rats not only steer with precision, but also eagerly jump into their mobiles, the rat mobiles instead of the Batmobile.
But they can steer?
Yep.
Wow,
Like
they're so
late,
smart.
like they're late and they just have a heavy foot.
Right,
So
right.
one scientist compared them to dogs excited for going out for a walk.
Sure.
Walk. But these instead of cheese, they're going for the sugar. So I guess they like sugar more than cheese.
Sugar is so addictive.
Yeah.
They get rats racing, should be the
Yes.
headline.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
Professor Lambert, mastermind of this experiment, says these wheel-squealing rodents have taught... See, that was funny. Have taught her something profound. Whether you're
Yes.
a neuroscientist or a rat, life is all about the journey. And maybe a few snacks along the way. Okay.
All right. Next.
We're staying with cars,
Okay,
but we're
cars.
going a little bit serious for the next story.
Okay, here we go.
But buckle up.
Why?
Because this one is a speeding ticket spectacle.
Oh, no.
A lot of alliteration there.
Yes.
South Korea's traffic cams have found their ultimate nemesis.
Uh-huh.
A driver surnamed Lim, who has racked up an eye-watering 19,677 speeding tickets.
How do you even get that many? Speeding tickets.
Well, I know how, but anyway, and 1,553 other violations. My wife will tell you.
Do you get a lot of speeding tickets?
I get at least one or two every year.
Really?
Yeah, because there are speed cameras, and one speed camera has changed from just that area to the average speed.
The average, right.
Yeah, so a couple of times I forgot that and I slowed down, but it taken
too
my
late.
average, yeah. And my average was...
1 or 2 per year. Waivers out there. 속도 위반. How do you say 딱지 or 위반 그거 날려오는 딱지 자주 받으세요? 저는 한 번도 안 받았는데요. Really? Speeding?
Yeah, I mean, and it's not that.
Okay.
It's not like double the speed. So if it's 60, I will go 65.
No,
I'm not going,
it
I'm not
can't
going
be 65.
100.
There's a leeway of 10. Come on.
No, there isn't. My
Really?
average was 65.
Your average was 65 and they sent your ticket?
Yeah.
Because you were 5 kilometers
so if my average
over?
is 65,
that means you were
I
going...
was going a little bit faster.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
But anyway. Yep. So the amount, guess how much that comes to?
The fines?
The fines.
I don't know how much.
19,000. So it's $1.2 million.
In fines?
In fines.
Wow.
So in Korea, however, this is not a criminal offense. Speeding tickets or speeding is not a criminal offense yet.
Should be.
So you don't face a license suspension or criminal charges.
This is where
just a lot of interest.
Yeah, but they say the reason why is because like those cameras, they can't distinguish who's driving. They can get the license plate.
Oh, I've seen the picture and you can see me.
Certain cameras, they can get like, you see who it is.
Yeah.
But then most of the time, like you get the license plate and then they can't tell exactly who's driving.
Really?
So the car is registered to, let's say, like a Kimshi, just common Korean name. But then, maybe not, like Honggil-dong, right? But it could be somebody else.
I wonder in Korea, do you find the driver or find the owner of the car?
Yes.
Because in New Zealand, it's the owner of the car.
The owner of the car.
Yeah, whether you're driving or not.
Exactly.
But in America, I think
it's the car. It's the driver.
Yeah.
At least in California, it's the driver.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
but he is not alone. There are 100 or more delinquent drivers owing more than 31.5 billion won, which is $1 million. So that's a lot of money. I think in the past, when new presidents came on board, they would forgive a lot of those fines. So I think that's probably what some people are banking on.
They should not, because the rest of us follow the laws.
Yeah.
Minus Fasana, but yes, we do. Yes.
Yep. So I was going to ask you that question, but you're saying that you don't.
I knock
tickets.
on wood. I don't get speeding tickets.
Yep.
I don't. Yes.
Okay.
너무 아까워서 못 하겠어요. Like, I'm a law-abiding citizen. So.
네, 알겠습니다.
네.
All right. Now, let's change it up a bit.
Yes, let's change it up.
Let's go to love, betrayal, and the ultimate price of fandom, Swiftie style.
Oh.
So this is influencer, New York City influencer. Her husband thought he was scoring major brownie points and said, I will take you on a road trip to Toronto where Taylor Swift is having a concert.
Okay.
And so what would you assume if your
If
husband's...
I were a Swiftie, I would be happy.
No,
I'm not,
but what would you
if
assume that he's bought the tickets?
That he's bought the tickets, he's booked us, booked
Hotel,
me a
et cetera,
hotel,
et cetera.
everything. Like it should be done.
He didn't do any of that. He just went on a road trip and thought he could buy the tickets there at Toronto.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, was he in the doghouse after?
Yeah. Well, he would have been, but the what do you call it? Metaverse, the internet saved them because they went on the internet and said,
tickets?
we haven't got any tickets.
Oh, really?
And she told a story. That's
kind of a big mistake to make.
Yeah. So
not buying the tickets.
So the concert started at 8 p.m. and by 2 p.m. they didn't have any tickets. And then by 6:20 they didn't have tickets.
Yes.
But she was all dressed and he was out looking for the tickets and trying to find people. The first price that he had found was $3,000 per ticket.
$3,000? That's like
$3,000.
350만 원 for one ticket?
It is not that when they first buy it online.
Right, obviously.
Yeah. And so he finally got one for $1,896 each.
That's still a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you pay that much?
No.
Would you pay that much to see anybody?
No.
You wouldn't pay that much to see me dance?
Never.
Me and Haley doing
You would
a
have to
dance.
pay me. Yes.
알겠습니다.
네.
Okay, there's one more story, and I
Yes,
want to
what
get
is
to
it?
it. Do we have time?
Yeah, we have time.
Yeah, lots
We
of
have plenty
time.
of time,
Okay, it's Thanksgiving, right? And so this Thanksgiving story. Thanksgiving, a time for gratitude, family, and in this case, dodging freeloaders. So this is from...
We got to explain. Freeloader, like an
Okay,
English
yeah.
teacher. What is a freeloader? I know, but explain to our waivers.
I don't know, teacher. You tell me.
Okay. A freeloader is someone who doesn't like paying for stuff and likes getting stuff for free.
Yeah.
무료, 공짜, like, just...
There's always one in every circle of friends.
Yes.
Like when you go out drinking, they're the ones that always, I left my wallet at home.
Or like they're very slow,
very slow.
to put something out. Yeah, that's a freeloader.
Usually Korean culture, they always race to the counter.
Right, that's like the perception.
Yeah.
Like you race
Yeah.
and you do the elbows, right?
Yeah.
Defense.
But there's always one friend.
Right? Oh, I thought she was laughing at us. She
No,
was sneezing.
I thought she was. I thought she was that one friend. Our producer was that one friend that never pays.
Oh, okay. I know, because she was like turning around and like, okay.
I'm still waiting for their samgyeopsal dinner. Anyway, so it involves a couple of people. One person was arranging for a Thanksgiving dinner, inviting many, many people. And so this, another person, her friend, said, okay, I can cook for you.
Oh.
And so she said, okay, sure. So if somebody offers to cook Thanksgiving dinner for you,
yes,
do you think you're just cooking?
Like you as the person cooking?
Yeah, you go to their place.
Oh.
They have everything and you just cook.
I would assume that if someone's inviting me to a Thanksgiving dinner,
Yep.
that at least the food will be provided. That's
Yep.
why you say thank you. And I would take a gift.
Yes.
Like either...
No, but if you're offering to cook.
If I'm offering to cook,
Yeah, the food will, or they would have bought all the ingredients. And
I
all.
would hope so.
Yeah, in this case, they didn't.
This
They-
is like going to the Swift concert without
Yes,
buying the tickets.
Which is why I picked this one. This is the same thing.
So what happened?
It is exactly the same thing. So the person who was arranging the dinner, the host, rang her back and said, okay, this is what I would like for Thanksgiving dinner. This is what I'd like you to buy and bring.
And bring and cook?
And cook. So she gave...
Did I miss the
and
best where-
turkeys are not cheap.
And not just that, like
Yeah.
an invitation usually means
Yes.
the person doing the inviting is at least paying or at least
Providing the food.
something, right?
Yes. So usually when that happens, you bring a bottle of wine or
Right.
gift
Yes, or like at least a side dish or something,
Yes.
dessert.
Unless they
something.
say it's a potluck dinner,
Yes.
and then you bring something. But
Right,
it wasn't
right.
a potluck dinner. So to add to some spice, this was not in the US of A. This was
Okay.
in Italy.
Italy, really?
So yeah, so prices of things are even more expensive there for some of the items there that she wanted to buy. So in this case, what would you do? Would you do it or back out?
I would back out.
And that's what she did.
Yes. I mean, I would just say very nicely, oh, you know what? Something came up and just... Because once again, the whole point of having, an invitation, if I invited somebody to my home, that means I'm doing all the cooking.
Yes.
Just bring yourself. That's what I would mean by
yes.
inviting somebody.
Oh,
but,
definitely.
yeah.
And me too. Yeah. So we can't finish on that note because those two stories were
No.
quite. Yeah. So I have a few dad jokes to finish this Thanksgiving
Okay.
edition.
Here we go.
Okay, there's Thanksgiving jokes.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
Because people are loving the, they say the,
Oh, no, they're
the dad
not.
jokes, the azegag, as
Oh,
Benny
they're
says.
not loving.
They are.
Okay, so what kind of turkey requires ID?
An adult turkey? I don't know. An ID?
Yeah, what kind of turkey requires
I don't know.
identification? A wild turkey. Okay, next one, carrying right on.
Yes. Next, Ajay.
I suppose we should explain why that's funny.
Why is it funny?
Because for us adults who
Yes.
know drinks, wild turkey is a brand of whiskey.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, what did the turkey say when he met the president?
The president?
Yeah, he met the president of the United States.
Oh, the United States?
And he may have
I know this
burps.
one.
He may have burped. Yeah, this is a really
I know
old
this one.
Yeah, all the kids should know this one.
Pardon me?
Ding dong
Meaning
dang.
He wants a reprieve. He wants to be spared.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Usually when I say this joke, I can burp on command. So I usually burp and say, okay, I'm the turkey, gobble, gobble, gobble. And
Oh,
then you
really?
burp and then say, what did I say when I met the president?
Oh, no. Okay, last one.
Last one? Oh, okay. What happened to the turkey that got in a fight?
In a fight?
Yeah,
a fight?
Yeah, a real fight.
I don't know.
He got the stuffing kicked out of him.
Okay, on that note, we're going to have to call it a wrap.
No, one more?
No.
Oh.
No. No more. But thank you so much for the laughter and the stories, of course.
Nah.
Wishing you a very happy weekend. We'll check in with you next week.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
On that note, we're going to say goodbye with this song for the entire week, Do They Know It's Christmas by Band-Aid Dirty. You guys probably know this song. Enjoy. Have a wonderful weekend and be safe out there. Bye, everybody.
There's no need to be afraid. At Christmas time, we let in light and we banish shade.
And in our world of plenty, we can spread a smile of joy.
Throw your arms around the world at Christmas time.
But say a prayer and pray for the other ones. At Christmas time, it's hard, but while you're having fun,
There's a world outside your window, and it's a world of dread and fear, where a kiss of love can kill you. And there's